The champagne corks popped like gunshots, punctuating the laughter and chatter that filled the rooftop bar. Fireworks bloomed in the sky above, painting the city a kaleidoscope of color. This was supposed to be our engagement party. Our moment. Our future, shimmering with possibility. But as I, Ava, stood there, a forced smile plastered on my face, the future felt like a fractured mirror. 28 years old, radiant in a white dress I had chosen, I was the picture of a happy bride-to-be. Everyone was celebrating with me, except for Mark. He stood near the bar, a little too close to my supposed friend, Chloe. I had been suspicious, but the champagne, the joy of the moment, had calmed me down. Now I was regretting not acting on my intuition sooner. To Ava and Mark. My best friend, Sarah, raised her glass, her eyes sparkling with genuine happiness. Everyone echoed the toast. Then, Mark, my fiancé, stepped forward, a smug look on his face. He raised his own glass, his eyes avoiding mine. A wave of dread washed over me. I knew this look. It meant trouble. Before we go any further, he announced, his voice oddly flat, there's something everyone needs to know. The music faded, the chatter died down. The fireworks chose that exact moment to stop, leaving an eerie silence. A chill went down my spine. He looked at me, the smile now gone, replaced with an unsettling mix of pity and defiance. I've been seeing someone else, he said, the words hanging heavy in the air. And the wedding is off. A collective gasp filled the air. Sarah rushed to my side, her arm wrapping around my waist. The room seemed to spin. My heart hammered against my ribs. I struggled to maintain my composure. I felt like the world was collapsing around me. Then, as if orchestrated for maximum humiliation, he turned, his hand extending to Chloe. Chloe. My friend. She stepped forward, a wide, triumphant grin on her face. My world shattered. And Chloe, Mark continued, his voice now filled with a sickening affection, is the woman I love. The room erupted. Shock, anger, and murmurs of disbelief filled the air. Sarah started to cry, and I could feel my own eyes starting to tear up. I felt the sting of the betrayal burning across my face. But instead of screaming, instead of breaking down, I did the unexpected. I took a deep breath, straightened my spine, and gave a slow, almost imperceptible nod. Well, I stated, my voice steady, this is unexpected. That nod was the calm before the storm. A storm I was about to unleash. My name is Ava, and I'm 28 years old. Mark was everything I thought I wanted. He was charming, successful, and always knew the right things to say. We had met at a mutual friend's birthday party, and it felt like love at first sight. We had been together for 3 years. We'd talked about marriage, about kids, about building a life together. I believed our future was together. I had devoted myself to him. I moved my whole life to be with him. I transferred jobs, and even the city where I grew up. Then there was Chloe. We had been friends since college. We went through breakups, stressful moments, and job problems together. Chloe was the friend I could always count on. Or so I thought. Now, looking back, the red flags were there. The late nights at the office, the mysterious phone calls, the defensive behavior whenever Chloe was mentioned. The secrecy, the evasiveness. I had dismissed them, blaming them on the stresses of his demanding career. I was too caught up in the illusion of our perfect relationship to see the truth. The betrayal, however, wasn't just about Chloe. It was about the lies, the manipulation, the 3 years of careful deceit. It was about the erosion of trust that was going on in silence. It was the destruction of what I thought was a strong and loving relationship. My breaking point was the engagement party. He had told Chloe about the plan that morning. He hadn't even hesitated to share what he was going to do. The day after the engagement party, I was in pieces. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, barely functioned. I had to take a few days off work, and I spent most of the time on my bed. But as the shock wore off, anger and a sense of betrayal simmered. The pain was overwhelming. I realized I had been a fool, blind to the truth. But I would not be a victim. I didn't confront Mark or Chloe immediately. I had to think. I had to get my head together. I also knew I had to be smart. I wanted revenge. Not in a childish way, but in a way that would truly destroy them both. I am a web designer. I am smart, resourceful, and technologically savvy. I knew I could use my skills and experiences. I spent the next few weeks carefully gathering evidence. I had the advantage of a digital background, I knew where to look. I delved into every digital footprint I could find. Every text, every email, every social media post. Every financial transaction. His laptop was filled with evidence. Photos, videos, and explicit messages between Mark and Chloe. The hotel receipts confirmed their secret getaways. Then, their shared bank accounts confirmed the lies. He had been funneling money to Chloe for over a year. Money I thought we were saving for our future. And Chloe? She'd been living a double life. Using me as a cover. All the while, secretly plotting with Mark behind my back. Then there was my own background. I had a unique perspective on online privacy. A friend of mine had a security firm, and he offered to help me. I had to get my ducks in a row. I had to protect myself. I hired a lawyer, a skilled attorney specializing in high-stakes divorces. I wanted to make sure that my future was secure. I discovered something else. He was committing tax fraud. This wasn't just infidelity. This was a man who was willing to break the law to get what he wanted. The implications for his reputation, for his freedom, were devastating. My preparations were methodical. I wanted to ensure everything was ironclad. My goal was simple: to make them pay for what they had done. The silent preparation was a test of my endurance. The waiting, the planning, the keeping of my secret, took every ounce of my strength, but I was determined. I was ready. The day I sent the email, I felt like a weight lifted. I sent a message to Mark. It was simple and concise: I know everything. I also sent a separate email to Chloe. The email went something like, I have a surprise for you. I watched as the chaos that erupted. The email to Mark had two attachments. The first was a breakdown of all his hidden accounts. The second was an explanation of his fraudulent behavior. The email to Chloe had a special video clip. Chloe's secret was out. That day, I received a panicked call from Mark. Ava, what is going on? What did you do? You'll see, I replied. His business deal started to fall apart. His clients were starting to disappear. He was starting to understand. It was the beginning of the end. A few days later, I had a final conversation with Mark. I invited him to the apartment. He was desperate. He looked like a man who had been through hell. His usual confidence was gone. He was shaking. Ava, please, let's talk. I made a mistake. I can explain, he begged, his voice raw with desperation. I looked at him. The man I once loved. Now, I felt nothing. Just a cold, hard emptiness. There's nothing to explain, Mark, I said, my voice calm, but with an icy edge. You made your choices. You chose Chloe. He tried to argue, to manipulate. He said he still loved me, that it was a mistake. He begged for a second chance, anything to salvage what was left of his life. You broke my trust, you betrayed me, I continued. I don't trust anything you say. I don't even believe in you. I pulled out an envelope. Inside was the legal documents to make him bankrupt. I have prepared this. You signed it. Your business is going to crash. I smiled. You were not good at being honest. His face crumpled. He realized the gravity of his situation. His business was ruined. He looked at me with a look of pure terror. You knew all along, he whispered, his voice barely audible. Yes, Mark, I said, a small smile playing on my lips. I knew. Comment and subscribe. The media attention was immediate. Mark had been known for his high-profile clients. My best friend, Sarah, was there for me. You're strong. I'm proud of you, she said. I am grateful for my sister, Emily. She offered me a shoulder to cry on, and a place to stay. My parents had their own opinions. They weren't supportive of Mark. It wasn't easy. But I had my friends, and my family, and I knew I would get through this. I found a quiet strength I didn't know I had. I found a strength in my grief. Mark tried to justify his actions. His excuses were shallow, self-serving. He claimed he was unhappy with me. The implication of his actions did not help. I didn't speak to Chloe after the engagement party. The truth was out. She was facing her own public humiliation. Mark's life unraveled quickly. His company imploded. The investors pulled their funding, and the deals he had been working on collapsed. His reputation was destroyed. The media was having a field day, detailing every aspect of his downfall. Chloe, after everything that happened,